Good morning. And it is always a good morning when we join together in beloved community. Welcome to the live, in-person, and live Zoom worship service of the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside.
Our opening music this morning is America the Beautiful. And I'm sure that you have sung this many, many times in school. At least I know I did. But did you know that there are some verses and lyrics that are frequently omitted? I had to really hunt to find a video with those lyrics included and that had the words shown so that you could sing them if you wanted. So the often omitted second verse says, America, America, God mend thine every flaw. Confirm thy soul in self-control, thy liberty in law. It seems that admitting that America is flawed and that there is a need for self-control and that laws are an important foundation of our country is no longer valued in this song when people sing it. So I wanted to make sure that we brought that back. So you may sit or stand, listen or sing, however you are moved, for America the Beautiful.
Thank you to the 7 of you that have joined us this morning at 9 o'clock in person. And thank you for joining us remotely by Zoom, where we will continue live streaming and posting these services on our YouTube channel for our virtual attendees. I'm Nick Williams, a member of the board and the worship committee, and I will be your worship associate today. Other members of the worship committee who make this service possible include Alec Peck, our music coordinator, Adam Wedeking, who monitors our visual and online connections, and Kate Lewicki, who is in charge of our sound system, and Tinka Friend, who created this service this morning. We welcome you to join us this morning with an open mind and an open heart, and with muted electronic devices. Please. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Thus begins the second paragraph of the Declaration of Independence, written 250 years ago. Independence Day, also known as the 4th of July, marks the historic date in 1776 when the Declaration of Independence was approved by the Continental Congress. This declaration has since become a symbol of American ideals, and this year we commemorate the 250th anniversary of the birth of our nation. Thank you for joining us here today. Before we move into the service, there are a few announcements we would like to share. We will mention several websites, emails, and phone numbers. At the end of the service, we will leave up a slide with all this information, and it's available on our website. Please note that our services will begin 1 hour earlier during the summer months of July and August. Once again, services begin at 9 a.m. from July 5th through August 31st. First Sunday lunches will not be held during July and August and will resume in September. The monthly Peace Circle talks are informative and supportive discussions about current events that relate to UU values. It is held on the first Sunday of the month in the parish hall. We will be meeting today at 10:30 a.m. in the parish hall. Today we will have a visiting speaker joining us. All are invited to attend and participate in the question and answer session. The board meeting of the newly elected board will meet on the third Thursday of the month in the annex. The next meeting will be at 5:30 p.m. on July 16th.
Adam, were there any social justice announcements or anything? So because there are several additional liturgical elements on the first Sunday of each month, which make the service run long, our joys and concerns and other things, we are trying to get out of the building before it gets too hot during our summer months. We have cut our second hymn today, cut it out, and I wrote, instead of a full 20 to 25 minute sermon, I wrote a 15-minute homily. So all of that should help us to get out of here before it is too hot. So I just wanted to make that announcement.
Our time together is brief, but it is filled with joy. In that spirit, I invite you to turn to those around you, greet them, welcome them, and share that joy. For those on Zoom, you can use the Zoom wave gesture or just wave at the camera. As you take your seats, we welcome all our visitors today and welcome back our old friends. We would love to meet you during coffee hour in the parish hall after the service, where you can also find our visitors tablet. Please leave your name before you leave so that we know you were here, and leave your contact information if you want updates on church events. There will also be a short discussion after the service to share your reflections with us. For those online, the best way to get added to the mailing list is to email the church office at admin@uuchurchofriverside.org. And now I invite you to sit back, take a slow, deep breath as we move into the worship hour. You are welcome to read with me the covenant of our church. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to live in harmony with all the living creatures and plants of the earth. This do we affirm. Today's speaker is longtime UUCR member Tinka Friend. Tinka Friend has been a patriot from the moment she was born at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas, 6 years after the end of World War II, a war her father fought in while stationed in Kunming, China. He stayed in the military, flying in the Berlin airlift and serving during the Korean and Vietnam Wars. She grew up on military bases across the United States, in Germany, and in the Pacific. Tinka is the daughter of a veteran, the niece of a veteran, the sister of a veteran, and the wife of a veteran. While she may not always be proud of the decisions made by her country leaders, she has always been proud of what her country has stood for.
This year, as we celebrate and honor our country's 250th year since the writing of our Declaration of Independence, many Americans struggle with how patriotic they should be feeling. Indeed, if they should be celebrating at all, given how many liberties have been reduced in recent years. It feels as though this bold experiment of governance is being dismantled and is faltering. So let us join together as we answer the question, what is patriotism?
We have 2 lightings of sacred flames. The first is a remembrance candle for the indigenous peoples who continue to cry out for justice and self-determination. We remember that we live off the unceded land of several indigenous peoples, including the Cahuilla, the Luiseño, the Serrano, the Keats, and the Cupeño, and others. We light this sacred flame in their remembrance and in recognition of their ongoing struggle for freedom and dignity.
Our second sacred flame is our own chalice, the symbol of our faith. We are blessed with this space and opportunity to strive to live out our common principles, to bring justice, equity, and compassion into our daily lives, to resist all that threatens the earth and her people, and to be part of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. So let these thoughts carry us forth as we journey and worship together. Today's chalice lighting words are celebrate what is noble. As we kindle this chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, may its flame remind us that love is stronger than fear, that truth is deeper than myth, and justice is wider than any border. May we celebrate what is noble in our nation without turning away from what still cries out for healing. May we honor the past honestly, serve the present courageously, and help create a future where liberty and justice truly belong to all.
It is said that shared joy is a double joy. Shared sorrow is half sorrow. On the first Sunday of each month, we share the joys and concerns that we have received from you and which you have collected throughout the month. First, I'm going to read the joys and concerns which were given to us. From Kate, a joy. Kate is looking forward to her upcoming trip to celebrate her brother Paul's and his wife Terry's 50th anniversary, and of course to see her 3 other siblings too. She hopes you all have a wonderful July. If there's nothing. Thank you, Tinka. If there is anyone here in the sanctuary who would like to speak their joy or concern, please raise your hand and we will invite you to speak here at the microphone. Bill, then Sue. And Bill, be sure to introduce yourself.
I'm William Casey, and I'm still here despite the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. Because if one thing Unitarians learn is how to recognize such things and how to duck. At any rate, the main thing I'm grateful for, based on what she was saying here, is that when I look at YouTube or some of the other places, one thing that I think is that I'm grateful for is all those people, even in their quarrels. There's some people out there, whether they're folksy about it or academic, that are very good at dissecting points of error, points of knowledge. I'm very grateful that they're out there so that basically the crucible brings up the good ideas and puts the bad ideas or the sneaky ideas away so that we can have a clearer vision, because as a group, we're just that much stronger.
Thank you, Bill. Sue?
There we go. Hi, I'm Sue. Pronouns she and her. Joy, my niece is coming. And I live in California and everyone else in my family lives far, far away. So I was so excited. She's coming for a women's music festival in Irvine, but was like, Aunt Sue, I can see you. So she's staying 3 extra days to be with me. I know. I'm so happy. Made my entire month. I should have ended with that. Concern, air quality in the IE. After the fireworks, it all comes to us and lingers. So I'm very concerned, especially for the unhoused right now who are outside, because you could probably see it this morning in the air. So yeah, just sending thoughts out for everybody.
Anyone else? Anyone?
Hi, I'm Tinka. My concern also, Sue, is I saw Nick and I went to the below Mount Rubidoux at the cemetery and yesterday and saw the fireworks, and our Rubidoux didn't appear to be burning this year. However, when I got home, I noticed on next door that somebody had posted and had some pictures of Fontana and what are the, do I want to say Ukaipa? No, not Ukaipa. Anyway, close to us. What used to be Miraloma, but it's not anymore. And Harupa, there we go. Anyway, that there was that the land had caught on fire because of the fireworks, and was it looked pretty bad on the images that they showed. And so I know that also contributed, besides just the smoke from the fireworks, the burning, which was caused by the fireworks. So that's a concern for those people. I hope no buildings or people were injured as a result of that. My joy is that next week, Nick and I will be celebrating 52 years of marriage. So 52. It's our anniversary. And so we are taking time off to go to San Diego. And with our carbon footprint in mind, we are not driving there. We are taking the train down to San Diego. And so we will be doing that. Then we'll be leaving San Diego to take the train to Union Station in LA to visit with a friend of ours that was at our wedding, and to celebrate with him, and then taking the train back home. So, so we will not be here for the next 2 weekends, but I'm looking forward to that time.
Thank you. I'm sorry? Luna. She is online there. Please go ahead.
First time share, so I'm not sure how this really works. I apologize in advance. I'm having a concern. I'm going through major grief right now. The person that I thought I was going to marry betrayed me heavily. And the community that I've been reaching out to for support has not really been there, so it's been hard. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing with us. Walt.
I guess I have a double joy. It looks like the Republicans are starting to crack under the stress of the erratic behavior of President Trump. That's a good thing. The other thing is, I finally have given up my cathode ray tube television after all these years and spent a whole whopping $100 to buy a 33-inch flat panel. And after going through several menus, none of which I could quite understand because I only want over the air and nothing else, that little sucker works, and works really well. I'm really happy with my new TV, except the programs that are out there are still just the same, not any better.
All right, Walt. Keep the economy strong. Yeah. For me, it's always a joy to be here with you. And now we will hear from Lauren. And then Michelle.
Yes, my name is Lauren, and I've been a member here for a long, long time. I've been almost a lifelong UU. I have continuing joy of having a new member of the family, my grandniece, who was absolutely delightful. And I also need to kind of apologize because one of my ancestors signed the Declaration of Independence. And he was the man responsible, I'm sorry to say, for the elective college. So I have had ancestors on both sides of history. And he was kind of on both sides himself. My concern right now is I have a friend who is basically missing. And I am fearing that she is no longer with us. But I can't really start to grieve until I know. So I have people working on trying to find out what happened to her. That's my story.
Thank you for sharing.
Hi, I'm Michelle O'Brien, pronouns she and her. It's a little embarrassing, but I want to share with you a concern in taking care of what I call cleaning up the wreckage of my past. I had a citation back during my addiction years that the courthouse all of a sudden recently notified me that I have to go to the Corona courthouse and make arrangements in paying that fine and taking care of it. And my concern is that they will actually work with me on that and allow me to take care of it without it escalating to something worse.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Best of luck to you. Anyone else? All right. Well, one of my joys is that I continue to use my treadmill at home, and I feel like I'm getting stronger as I continue to rehab my legs and back from the last surgery I had. I appreciate all of your support. Thank you very much. Anybody else on Zoom? Okay. We place a stone in our water chalice to represent the joys and concerns we have shared with our church community and in recognition of those we hold close and have not shared. May we remember those who have spoken, those who have named, and those we hold in silence in our hearts. This portion of our service is to support our beloved historical church. This can be accomplished in several ways. In addition to the weekly collection, you may send your checks to the church address, which is shown here. You may contribute by PayPal using the QR code, which is shown here, as well as on the church website and in the newsletter. Gift cards that support the church can be purchased through Raise Right for hundreds of places like Target, CVS, many restaurants, and more. You get the full value, and the church also receives a percentage for free. Please see Robert Braun in the church office if you are interested in purchasing Raise Right gift cards to support the church. Please donate as the Spirit moves you by whatever method works best for you. Thank you for your generosity. To those who give of their time and their talent, thank you for your generous care and attention. To all of you who have joined us here today, thank you for the gift of your presence. Will our ushers now please come forward to receive the collection? A tote bag will also be passed around to collect food and hygiene items for our local community. Thank you, Tika. Our next hymn is number 402, From You I Receive, from the Gray Hymnal. Feel free to rise or sing as the Spirit moves you. The lyrics will also be projected on the screen. Now please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 402, From You I Receive.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
This is the part of the service where we center and ground ourselves in the present moment. So please sit back, relax, comfortable. Breathe in and breathe out. One more time. Breathe in and breathe out. And if you wish, you may gently close your eyes. Let us enter into a spirit of prayer and meditation by listening to what I call a patriot's prayer. Spirit of life, source of love and mystery. We give thanks for the beauty of this land, its rivers and deserts, its mountains and plains, and its people in all of their diversity and resilience. We remember those whose labor built this nation. We remember those whose freedoms were denied. We remember those whose voices were silenced. And we remember those who struggle so that future generations might live more freely. Grant us courage to face history honestly. Grant us humility to listen deeply. Grant us hope strong enough to inspire action. May we become makers of peace, seekers of justice, supporters of truth, and builders of beloved community. In the silence of our hearts, let us now quietly reflect on the nation we have inherited, and most importantly, the nation we hope to create. May love guide us forward. Amen. Good morning and happy, let me see if I can get this right, semi-quincentennial. That's the fancy term, it's Latin, for America's milestone 250th birthday yesterday. It means halfway to 500 years. Neat, I learned a new thing. Before I start my message, I would like to share with you that 2 days ago, so I just discovered, on a genealogy platform that I belong to, like Lauren, I am related to a Maryland delegate and signer of the Declaration of Independence 250 years ago. That knowledge actually filled me with pride. Now, I will say, I have not had an opportunity to dig into William Baca, is his name. I didn't have a chance to delve into his background. I think maybe I'm a little afraid to discover maybe he owned slaves or something, so I'm not quite. But at this point, I am filled with pride about that. So now for my homily. A more perfect union, patriotism with open eyes. 250 years ago, a bold experiment began in what had been a British colony. In 1776, a declaration was written proclaiming that all men are created equal. I take that to mean all persons, and that these people were endowed with certain unalienable rights. Liberty, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those words changed the world. They really did change the world. And they gave hope to many, not just in North America, but to all people around the world, especially oppressed people. And yet, we have to acknowledge that even as those words, as powerful as they are, even as those words were written, they were incomplete. Incomplete in so many ways for so many people. Many of those who signed those words owned enslaved people. Women could not vote. Indigenous nations were attacked, displaced, their lands stolen, and this new country planning to exterminate their culture, their religion, their language, and their way of life. Freedom, though declared universal, was distributed selectively. Today, on the 250th birthday of the United States, we face a question not just that we have to look at, but a question that every generation must answer. How do we love our country honestly? Because there are two temptations when speaking about patriotism. The first is uncritical celebration, the kind that turns actual history into mythology, and also mistakes love of country for the refusal to see its deep faults. The second is cynicism, the belief that because our nation has failed its ideals, maybe those ideals were never worth believing in. Those are people who often choose not to vote. But I say that Unitarian Universalism invites us to a third path, and that is patriotism with open eyes. What is that? It is a patriotism that neither worships nor despairs. A patriotism rooted in truth. The American story is not a story of perfection. It is a story of aspiration. The Declaration promised equality long before equality existed. The Constitution spoke of liberty while slavery still endured. Generation after generation has had to rightly ask, who belongs in the circle of we the people? And generation after generation, the circle has widened. And that is something that American patriots should be proud of. That is something I am very proud of. Enslaved people resisted and survived. Abolitionists demanded freedom. Women fought for suffrage. Labor movements sought dignity. Immigrants built communities. Civil rights leaders marched. LGBTQ+ Americans claimed their humanity. Indigenous peoples preserved cultures that others tried to erase. That's the part of our history I think we should all be proud of. The story of America is not only the story of its past, of its founders, it is also the story of those American citizens who insisted that America live up to its promises. American patriots who recognized this country's greatest potential and urged its government to ensure that, in the words of President Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War, we have government of the people, by the people, for the people. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said that the Declaration of Independence was a promissory note, a check that had come back marked insufficient funds. And yet, he did not abandon the promise. He demanded that the nation honor it. That is patriotism. Patriotism is not believing your country is always right. Patriotism is loving your country enough to help it become better. As we saw in the lyrics in America the Beautiful, to mend thine every flaw. The UU theologian James Luther Adams taught that revelation is ongoing. Truth unfolds, society evolves. Democracy itself is a spiritual practice because it requires humility, the recognition that we don't possess all wisdom, and that together we can create something more just. Our nation's 250th birthday arrives in a time of deep division in our country, and I believe often caused by our government. Many Americans carry different memories of this country. For some, the flag evokes opportunity and belonging and success. For others, it recalls exclusion or harm. Both experiences can be true. One does not nullify the other. I believe that this country, our country, the United States of America, is at its best and has at its truest vision when it makes decisions grounded in universal love. Love that demands silence about suffering is not love. Love that refuses hope is not justice. The challenge before us is not to choose between patriotism or the truth. The challenge is to practice both. What if patriotism means caring for the country the way we care for our family? Families are not perfect. Was yours? Mine wasn't. And we do not honor them by denying their wounds. We honor our family and our country by telling the truth, repairing harm, and nurturing what is best within them. The United States, at 250 years old, is neither a finished product nor a failed one. It remains an unfinished experiment. And perhaps that is exactly what democracy is. Not a possession we inherit, but a practice we renew. The question is not whether our ancestors were perfect. They were not. We know that. The question is, what will we do with the inheritance they left us? Will we widen liberty? Will we deepen justice? Will we build communities where every person, regardless of race, religion, gender, immigration status, ability, or identity, can truly flourish? Our UU values call us to answer yes, to celebrate the beauty of this nation's ideals while acknowledging the pain of its history, to teach our children both courage and honesty, to remember that freedom denied to some is freedom diminished to all. 250 years ago, a dream was spoken, not fully realized, not equally shared, but powerful enough that generation after generation has kept reaching for it. Yes, there have been setbacks. Yes, we could do better. We must do better. Perhaps the greatest act of patriotism is not waving the flag. It is ensuring that the promises represented by that flag become more real for more people. For this 250th Independence Day, whether we're rich or poor, gay or straight, white or black, young or old, left or right, and anywhere in between, it is my hope and my prayer that we can come together as Americans in the spirit of engaged patriotism and caring citizenship. Citizenship, local, national, and global citizenship, based on the ideals upon which our nation was founded. May we be citizens, not of a nation, but of conscience. May we love this country enough to tell the truth about it. May we love it enough to change it for the better. And, in my opinion, may we love it enough to vote out those who want to limit liberty to just a chosen few. And may those who gather 250 years from now say that our generation moved the nation closer to liberty and justice for all. And for that, we can be proud. May we be that kind of patriot. May it ever be so. Amen. Our closing music is This Land Is Your Land by Woody Guthrie. You don't come up yet.
Okay.
Woody intentionally worked to bring into focus the marginalized people living in America during his lifetime: the poor, the uneducated, the labor worker, the farmer, the union organizer, the socialist, the communist. They all had a place in America, and this was their land too. So you may sit or stand, listen or sing. If you want to clap, clap. Enjoy the music and the message.
This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. I've roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts. And all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. When the sun came shining and I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving, and the dust clouds rolling, and the fog was lifting, a voice was chanting. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking, I saw a sign there, and on the sign it said no trespassing. But on the other side, it didn't say nothing. That side was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. In the shadow of the steeple, I saw my people. By the relief office, I've seen my people. As they stood there hungry, I stood there asking, is this land made for you and me? Nobody lives stop me as I go walking that freedom highway. Nobody living can ever make me turn back. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me.
Be seated. I wanted to find, you probably saw verses in there that you didn't know or weren't familiar to you. And I searched because I wanted to find one that had most of his lyrics, specifically about the conditions and the variety and the diversity of people that he sang about. And benediction is called Go Forth. Go forth in gratitude for the freedoms won. Go forth in sorrow for the freedoms denied. Go forth in hope for the freedoms yet to come. May we be patriots of conscience, citizens of compassion, and builders of beloved community. May we love this nation not because it is perfect, but because together we can help it become more just. Go in peace, go in courage, and go in love. Amen, and blessed be.
Yeah. Thank you, Tinka. Thank you for sharing your valuable time and insights with us this morning. It's sincerely appreciated, and we look forward to seeing you again. We also thank Tinka for when she accompanies our hymns in American Sign Language. We'll have 10 to 15 minutes of discussion here in the sanctuary in just a minute for those who wish to share their thoughts and observations on today's topic. Please be aware this will be included on the video that is posted. I'm pleased to see our numbers swelled to 10. Otherwise, you are now welcome to adjourn into the parish hall for coffee hour. Bill.
One of the things I picked up on is that in these times that we're in, people play endless word games. They try to use the word patriot for their side and make the other side feel like they're oafs or betrayers if they attempt to use it. They try to sneak in words and phrases that are either ill understood or completely well understood, and that they're working very hard to misconstrue. And it gets tiresome because I'm old and there are people who are older in this place, and the young aren't in the mood for it either. But it suddenly struck me that not only am I going to have to look at all these word games that we play with each other, but I'm going to have to work on enjoying it more. Because if I keep trudging at it, and if we keep trudging at it, there's the point where we just smile pleasantly and back away from the conversation. But if we get to the point where we say, this land is my land, I am a patriot, I don't agree with what you're saying, here's why. And you can say, maybe we have a minute, or maybe there'll be another spot down the line where we will have a minute. I think that in that sense, we can actually build a better country, even now. I mean, we all waver back and forth. It's been a rough 10 years, and we've seen some horrible stuff. And I don't necessarily rejoice in the idea of these word games that we're going to have to play. But I know that we try harder and absorb more details when we're happy than if we're weary and afraid. I'm going to work on being happy about this.
Thank you, Bill. I think trudge was an interesting choice of word. The definition of trudge is to walk with purpose.
I know for me, and I'm sure it probably came out in my homily, that one of the things that strikes in my heart and pierces it and causes pain in terms of is that the rewriting or the pushing aside of inconvenient facts, inconvenient actions, and in I don't know, I just found out, I think a week ago, that the state of Texas has passed. As a retired teacher, I'm very concerned about the curriculum and what we teach our children. And Texas has passed their state assembly and Senate, passed a law stating, rewriting the social studies and history books for the state of Texas. And they only want things in there that will make you proud to be an American. They don't want any of the things, any of the growing pains, any of the kinds of things. And they have also included that you have, each year, you will have to study and delve into a biblical passage. So both of those things immediately, like go against my sense of patriotism. I also discovered in researching that Trump had, or his administration with his guidance, created this group where they have, I think it's 4 trailers that are like traveling museums to celebrate our 250th year. And he's got this one wall, which is a wall of heroes. And his portrait is up there as an American hero. And so it's all skewed, the history that's going around to all the small little towns and everything else with this has this definition of patriotism that doesn't always include things. So that, those are the things that, that have gone into my heart that hurts. Anybody want to share what they
Sue, how do you do?
Whether you could relate to any part of the service or?
Thank you so much. That was so thoughtful. I could tell you did the research, and I appreciate that because I appreciate all of the history that's going on alongside of that signing. I saw on Ibram Kendi's site the other day that out of the 56 signers, 48 profited off slavery. So, yeah, so it doesn't mean they all were slave owners, but they could have purchased goods from plantations, things like that. But Howard University had done that study.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very hopeful talk as well. I appreciate it.
When you talked about like Howard University, it made me think about all of, there's so many of the big Ivy League universities were built by slaves, on the backs of slaves. Some are starting to recognize that and be honest about it. And that's the part I think is the strongest for me in my message is with clear eyes, let's look and let's be honest about what it is. We can be honest and say this was not a good thing to do, so let's change it. And I don't think we can achieve the ideals that we strive for, that this country was founded on, unless we are open and honest about it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tinka, for that presentation. It brought to mind the words of Abraham Lincoln in his speech when he quoted the words at the beginning of that writing, is that in order to form a more perfect union. And people disagree with me when I attempt to express that we've been working on fulfilling those words for 250 years. And my hope is that we can continue to do so.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen. Thank you.
And it says, Sue's big iPad. Thank you, Tinka, for your insightful talk. You brought tears to my eyes and hope to my soul. I have been struggling with my negative thoughts of my country. Your talk has helped me to look at my patriotism in a more positive way. Thank you so much for your talk.
Thank you.
Hey, Walt.
Well, I really love this talk today. It's why I come to this church. Sum up, because I am a political animal, and one of the most obvious things that is being kind of coming under attack currently is the notion that there are guardrails that I don't know that we'll ever all come together. I don't know why we should. But for one thing, it should never be done violently. It should be done through thought, a war of words, and no higher than that, because you can't kill ideas by killing people, and no one person has all the answers. And so we need to, at all times, remember that we're supposed to work within the confines of the democratic process. Thank you.
Thank you, Walt. Anyone else? Bill, you want to speak again?
Suddenly occurs to me that either that or it's just a simple, small subject, and we could be sitting here talking till next week if we won't, but we could. Patriotism is that difficult. But I would say this, a vision just sort of came to me. Picture a great big old wall with about 50 doors on it, 50 plus doors on it, doorknob on every one. Some of them, the act of patriotism is to turn that door and open it, damn it. And the other one is to make sure it doesn't open, ever. And so we've got this, to quote a Christian friends, if you lock it here, it is locked. If you declare it locked, it is locked on earth. If you declare it open, it is open on earth. Literally, the act of being a human is the act of opening and closing a bunch of doors, and then occasionally to realize, oh gosh, maybe I should have done that earlier, or oh gosh, I shouldn't have done that at all. And there will be systems that we work by. Certainly the Heritage Foundation, even if some of their stuff is erroneous, has a very detailed checklist called the 7 Mountains Theory, basically for total social control. And it's, as patriots, if we're playing the game against those people, we should probably know a large section of what their doors are that they are opening and or closing, because it's a pretty good bet that they don't match ours.
Thank you. Are you coming up, Walt? Okay.
In trying to get to that more perfect union, I simply wanted to say, and then I temporarily forgot, might be because of age. Anyway, we will see Roe come back.
Mhm. Anyone else? Anyone else on Zoom? There are no further comments. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Now please join us in the parish hall for further fellowship.